Hi, Rita West here with another rambling. Today it is the rambling of an enhanced muscular female. And actually it comes from, I had done another episode, another rambling, answering a woman's question about her own cycle that she had started. And it spurred one of the viewers to ask the question about my own personal experience the first time I started. So for me, a little bit different though. At the time that I started, I mean, there was plenty of women that were doing steroids, but they wouldn't talk about it. They weren't very honest about it, and it was kind of hush hush, and they kept to themselves. And if they just didn't really talk about it much. And so that was the time when women were getting most of their advice from men, including myself. I had a boyfriend who was an ex-bodybuilder, and so for me, I started with just Anavar, and that was all I did for 2 years. And it was a very minimal dose. Well, I call it minimal. That ex-boyfriend of mine, he very concerned about my health, and so I trusted him, and he suggested I start with 20, and that was all I did. And I want to say for about 6 weeks at a time, and I'd come off for 4 weeks before I'd go back on, and that was what I did for 2 years. And as far as what I noticed, it was always like 2 weeks, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, somebody, and it would be somebody else that noticed it before I did, and somebody would, 2 weeks on, somebody would be telling me, oh, you look leaner, and 2 weeks off, somebody would be telling me I look a little softer, And as far as the lifting, as far as strength goes, it was actually very good for strength. And what I would notice, I mean, my max number would go up, not a huge jump, but it would go up. And my reps would go up by a lot, and the same thing coming off, so coming off, the numbers I was able to do didn't drop much. It was the reps that dropped, so, and in general, you just kind of feel better, and maybe in it, I don't know how much of it's psychological, because you start leaning out. It's definitely good for like a leaning out thing. It doesn't cut fat. I know a lot of people think that Anavar is a cutter drug, and it's considered it's called that. It doesn't really do anything to make you lose fat. I guess I've read somewhere that it might increase your metabolism, but it just doesn't aromatize. So it doesn't turn into estrogen, which attaches to testosterone and creates more estrogen. It doesn't do that, and that estrogen is what holds water. So testosterones and some of the other steroids, they bloat you. Anavar doesn't bloat you, so it doesn't really burn fat. But anyway, so that's why you see the leaning out, and it wasn't until, like I said, that was all I did for about 2 years. And then when I did start using some tests, I actually started out with a probe, and again, well, I was going to say minimal. No, probably not minimal, but for more than what I suggested people, I would say I probably started right out with like 50 a week, and broken up over 3 days. And I just used to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I did, once I broke into the test, I did step into other things quicker. So trend being the first, and actually my personal favorite. And but I did personally notice that over time, taking less and less and less, and actually feeling better and lifting better. So that's why a lot of times I'm very careful with women when I give them suggestions now, because more is not always better, and you don't need to jump on this crazy stuff. Again, it's supposed to just be an age, like when it's time, when you've reached some sort of plateau, something to push you further again. So yeah, that was my initial introduction and reaction to my own personal steroid journey. If you have any other questions, get a hold of me. Instagram is boss.bitch.x. You can message, or you can leave a comment here on the video, or Facebook. If we're friends on Facebook, I don't accept everybody there, but yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know. Share, subscribe, like, and I will talk to you again soon.